Are we going to see a situation here where a lot of these Southeast Asian nations are going to be placed in a situation where they have to choose between Washington and Beijing?
Well, that's always been the concern in the region, and that's been expressed, I think, very clearly, not just to the Trump administration, but to his predecessor, President Obama, and even to President George W. Bush, that putting too much pressure in the region, requiring our friends and allies in the region to make an explicit choice between China and the United States is not really a constructive, effective American foreign policy. The better course, and as has been advised from capitals in Southeast Asia, is to give enough space. The reality is the geography requires that the countries in Southeast Asia have good relations with Beijing. And of course, the United States has had a history of underwriting security and providing important trade and investment benefits to our friends and allies in the region.
Secretary Pompeo, a few days ago in that interview with CNBC, said, this isn't necessarily a direct response to Belt and Road from China, but he did say we offer more transparency. How do you see these investments playing out? Because there's still a lot of question marks about, what exactly the U.S. is seeking. $113 million is really chump change compared to what Belt and Road offers. Are we likely to see any kind of announcement, any kind of partnership on that front between the U.S. and some of these Southeast Asian nations?
Well, you're correct. The $115 million or so package that was announced, I suppose, a couple of days ago is, very small in the context of Southeast Asia. Secretary Pompeo has a very heavy lift over the next couple of days in the region. The events, including the summitry with Kim Jong-un and President Trump, as well as the increasing tensions around trade, have overshadowed what have been the traditional issues in the region, namely improving trade and investment flows and trying to address China's South China Sea maritime territorial disputes. So he's got a lot of important business to take care of in the next couple of days, clarifying American policies, trying to assure America's friends and allies, especially with regard to North Korea, and addressing something that should be front and center at the ASEAN Regional Forum, and that is, how this trade war is across the Pacific is going to play out. What's the end game will probably be the question asked of Secretary Pompeo on the margins of the meeting.